So I'm starting with 2 1/4 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour. I'm going to add a little semolina, which I like to add to any pasta that I'm making. I think it gives it a better color. Obviously, it has a more nutritional value, and it helps the pasta hold up in the water. So about a quarter of a cup of the semolina, and of course salt for flavor. So these cavatelli, or cavadillo, or whatever you want to call them,
that's a good word.
I'm going to make with ricotta, not with potato, which is what most people have. You know, they're used to a potato cavatelli or potato gnocchi. So I just mix the flours together with the salt. Then we have the ricotta cheese. So for this amount of flour, you want about, I would say, a pound. But you know, everything's in the hands, right, Nancy?
Exactly. You don't know till you feel it. And I notice you drained the water off, the whey off.
Drain.
Make it too wet.
Yep, I don't want to make it too wet because if I do that, then I got to add more flour. So I don't want to do that. So 1 egg, just to give this a little bit of richness, goes in. And you can get great ricotta cheese in the grocery store, but I mean, it's not going to be exactly like what you find in Italy, right? You notice I'm only using 1 hand for this dough, Nancy?
Now, why is that?
Because I like to keep the other hand free in case I have to answer the phone.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Didn't your mother teach you that?
Yeah,
we
my
had
mother,
the same mother, remember?
Right, exactly.
Okay, so now we have my dough, you see, on the board, and I'm just going to get this into a nice soft dough. I may not use...
That looks like a nice dough.
Yeah, I may not use all this flour because I know just by the feel of it when I have enough, and that is enough. So if you have extra dough like that left over where you've put the flour in, you can always just, you know, shake it out, and then you can use that dough on your board. And that's our ball of dough. And now we can go to work and make the shape, right?
Perfect.
Okay.
It doesn't need to rest or anything.
No.
No. Okay.
So now we're going to cut this up into 4 pieces because I like to work with small pieces at a time. And you want to keep the rest covered. So we'll just set those aside. And then I just take it. I don't want too much flour because I need the grab on the board. And you remember this, where you would just roll this under the palms of your hand. And then we just cut them up into little pieces, just like that, see?
Okay.
Just little pieces. Okay, so once we have that, then we need to form them. Let me get you a fork.
I love this.
Here's one for you, one for me. And the important thing is to, you know, just flour your fork.
Okay.
And then just roll it. So you're creating that little cave. You see that little hole right there? Well, you know this already.
Well, I know what they look like, Mary Ann, but as I said, I never made them.
The top has the impression of the fork, but where you put your thumb is the cave. Therefore, the word cavatelli.
So like that.
That's
My thumb goes in there.
That's it.
Got
so
it.
with a little pressure, you just make them and roll them off the tines of your fork.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
So there they are. You can see the little cave there. Now here's another neat way to do them. On a butter paddle. This makes even the work a little, you have more control than you do with a fork. So you can just hold the paddle and go right down and make that. And you're using a really light impression for this to get it. And if you make a mistake, you just do it over again. All right, so we have boiling water. And the best way to do this after you've salted the water, you see how I put the cavatelli on the floured towels? This is the way my grandmother always did it, so I do it the way she does it, is to simply pick the whole towel up and put it right in the water. When they bob to the top like this, you just want to cook them for about a minute because you want them to have a little bit of texture to them. You don't want them to be soggy. So they're just about ready. You want to cook off the flour and the egg. So now I can drain those. So we're ready to do the ripastatura. Wow, they look great. So drain off most of the water, but not all of the water. Aren't they beautiful?
They're just absolutely, well, they're darling. They're cute.
And they go, the little caves.